Cleetus McFarland wasn't supposed to make it this far, not in NASCAR. He's not a legacy name, he didn't climb through the traditional karting circuits, and he doesn't have a family pedigree in stock car racing. What he has is a YouTube empire, a burning passion for speed, and an uncanny ability to turn chaos into community. When McFarland, real name Garrett Mitchell, made the leap from content creator to race car driver, many rolled their eyes. This was just another influencer stunt, right? Wrong. What began as a curiosity has evolved into one of the most talked about stories in modern motorsports. He developed his empire through burnout videos and daring stunts. But when Cleetus McFarland got into a real stock car, NASCAR veterans couldn't decide whether to laugh, cheer, or demand a rule change. What ensued was one of the most surprising and contentious racing debuts in recent memory. Before NASCAR, Cleetus was already a well-known name in the automotive sector. His YouTube channel, which featured burnout contests, drag races, and build projects, drew millions of views. But McFarland wasn't your typical gearhead with a camera. He had vision. Events such as Cleetus and Cars and the Freedom 500 became huge successes, combining entertainment with genuine motorsports thrill. By 2025, the commotion had become too big to ignore. Cleetus wanted to race, not only host races. His debut came in the ARCA Menard Series, NASCAR's entry-level competition. McFarland drove the number 30 Ford for Reddy Jones Racing at Daytona, one of the sport's most iconic tracks. The consequence was a catastrophic crash that knocked him out of competition. But he was not discouraged. Talladega and Charlotte races followed, with each demonstrating gradual improvement and increased seat time. He was learning quickly. What Cleetus lacked in experience, he made up for with sheer resolve. He wasn't there just for fun or as a promotional gimmick. He was pursuing legitimacy. After his Daytona incident, instead of retiring into comfort, he did what few would do. He doubled down. He meticulously examined race tape, analyzed his blunders, and began seeking help from experienced drivers. Kenny Wallace, a NASCAR veteran, did not spare his remarks. He emphasized the significance of following the sport's rules, particularly those regarding safety. Wallace notably cited McFarland's unauthorized in-car camera setup and equipment abnormalities. Wallace's primary concern was safety, not gatekeeping. You don't just show up and freestyle your way through. There are lives on the line. The criticism touched a nerve and reverberated throughout the racing world, but it also marked a turning point. Cleetus answered with humility rather than defiance. In interviews and videos, he acknowledged the gravity of the sport he was participating in. "I feel like an idiot," he said, "but NASCAR's a different beast." Not everybody was critical. "I think I ran every single possible line through 3 and 4. I saw that. And I think I just killed the front right on the car trying to keep up with those dudes. And then those last 15, when they were passing me, there was literally nothing I could do. I was fighting for my life in there. I could not catch them. It's like driving on wet grass, man. Dude, and it's like getting your freaking wing flipped when they come out on your outside." Following the Charlotte race, former Cup Series driver Greg Biffle stepped up and offered Cleetus guidance. Biffle, noted for his analytical driving style, thoroughly dissected McFarland's performance and provided advice on everything from track placement to pit communication. It was a passing of the torch moment, with a seasoned pro guiding a raw novice. Kevin Harvick, another NASCAR superstar, welcomed Cleetus to his show. Their chat was candid and revealing. Harvick did not sugarcoat the obstacles of entering into NASCAR, but he admired Cleetus's hustle. "This isn't something you master overnight," Harvick said, "but I see the work you're putting in, and that matters." Opinions were mixed across the NASCAR community. Supporters saw Cleetus as a means for a younger, digitally native audience to explore stock car racing. "He's bringing new eyes, new energy," admirers contended. Critics, however, expressed legitimate concerns. Was it safe to let influencers participate in a sport where one mistake may be disastrous? Were teams taking risks for clout rather than competitiveness? The questions concerned not only McFarland, but also what his presence symbolized. Was this the start of a new era in motorsports, where social media and traditional racing finally converged, or a hazardous precedent in which entertaining trumped expertise? To his credit, McFarland did not avoid the criticism. He publicly recognized his mistakes, including the regulation infractions. "I want to start by apologizing to the team that I took out," McFarland told Fox Sports 1 after the race. "I think it was several cars. I just feel terrible. Every time I go racing, I don't want to get taken out. I felt it. It sucks. I've been sent home, and I made a complete rookie maneuver on the restart. I zigged, and then I zagged, and then she was blowing my door off, and on the zag, I hit her and put her in the wall. I feel terrible about it. I know those guys work hard to be out here. It sucks to send them home. His tone resonated with both fans and doubters. It wasn't arrogance, it was insight. Looking ahead, Cleetus is all in. He intends to compete in more ARCA races, with the goal of gradually rising up the NASCAR ranks. However, this time, he is taking a different approach. More training. Speaking further on the incident, he added, "I forgot there was no dang restrictor plate on this thing. I'm like, wham! Gave her the beans. It steps out, and then I clipped Robusto. Just feels bad. But we'll move forward." Behind the scenes, Cleetus started modifying everything. He enlarged his squad, hired a veteran crew chief, and began attending closed-door strategy meetings with experienced drivers. He also shadowed races he wasn't racing in to learn the rhythm of pit calls and green flag tactics. His presence in the paddock was no longer tolerated. Rather, it was respected. Cleetus McFarland's tale is currently being written. But one thing is certain. He has shaken up the NASCAR environment in ways few could have expected. Whether you perceive him as a disruptor or a visionary, his journey has already written a new chapter in racing history. And as long as he continues to learn, adapt, and push forward, who knows how far he will go. While that may seem like the end of the story, it is far from it. McFarland's upcoming races will be key. Will he show that he belongs, or will he confirm the detractors' fears? Regardless, both fans and insiders are keeping a tight eye on things. Since his podcast appearance with Harvick, McFarland has increased his preparation efforts. He's attended simulator sessions with other ARCA drivers, begun examining race telemetry, and even recruited an ex-NASCAR engineer to help him hone his strategy. These are not the movements of a casual participant. They are the options of someone who is serious about establishing a legitimate presence in the sport. And the consequences are starting to appear. During a follow-up race at Kansas Speedway, Cleetus held his line under pressure, avoided excessive aggression, and finished in the middle of the pack. Not remarkable, but solid. It was the type of race that commands respect. Quiet skill rather than wild flair. But NASCAR is more than just driving. It's about the garage's politics, media attention, and sponsorship ties. Cleetus also has an advantage in this situation. With his large internet following, he provides sponsors with something that money cannot always buy: true engagement. That type of value is difficult to ignore in today's media ecosystem. However, the issue remains: can he balance being a media celebrity and a race car driver? Some feel that the dual identity may become a liability. Others believe it is exactly what NASCAR requires: a link between its established fan base and a new generation eager for digital-first storytelling. One thing is certain: the next time Cleetus gets in a stock vehicle, it will not be just another influencer stunt. It will be another stage in what could be one of NASCAR's most unusual and perhaps transformative stories in recent years. And maybe, just maybe, Cleetus McFarland will move from being a YouTuber who attempted NASCAR to a racer who changed the way new drivers entered the sport. Cleetus McFarland's racing journey is no longer a sideshow. It's becoming a proving ground. For him, for NASCAR, and for a sport at a crossroads. He's not the first outsider to challenge convention, but he may be the first to bridge two powerful worlds: motorsport and media. If Cleetus succeeds, he won't just carve a path for himself. He'll change what's possible for an entire generation of creators, fans, and aspiring racers. So what comes next? Will he snag a top 10 finish and silence the critics? Will a NASCAR team take a long-term gamble on him? Can digital native fans fall in love with oval racing through his lens? Whatever happens, one thing's for sure: Cleetus McFarland isn't done. He's just getting warmed up. Now it's your turn. Do you think he belongs in NASCAR? Or is this all one big burnout waiting to happen? Drop your thoughts and keep your eyes on the track, because Cleetus is still chasing the checkered flag.